Hi, I'm Dr. Rick Rieser. I'm here to talk to you today about dogs and patients with PTSD. Barring being allergic to dogs or having a family member allergic to dogs, a patient with PTSD cannot be penalized for having a dog in America. And that is by the Americans with Disabilities Act, or Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. With this document, which I fill out for you and mail to you, you are able to take a service animal anywhere, even on a plane. So that gets rid of all pesky landlords that say that you can't have a dog. So if you already have a dog, then that's fine. If you don't, then I recommend that you get a golden retriever puppy. Golden retriever puppies I saw on a not puppies, the older dogs, but I saw them on a documentary about these school shootings. There's a team of dogs out of Atlanta that are flown in to all these places where the kids are having their police shooting, their crazy people shooting up their schools. And these dogs come in as comfort animals. They are great around children, and they're good with strangers, unless you don't like the stranger, in which case they can be quite vicious. Okay, dogs are smart. All dogs are smart. They know by the time they're 2 years old, they know anywhere from 200 to 600 human words, depending on who you read and how much you talk to the dog. Again, I recommend the golden retriever. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to teach the dog some vocabulary. You want to teach them what it means to wake them up. So when you come upon them and they're sleeping, you gently stroke their hair and their head and say, "You were asleep, I'm waking you up. You were asleep, I'm waking you up." And if you can find the dog when they're dreaming, and when they're dreaming, you know that they're dreaming the same way you can tell when a human is dreaming. Their eyes are going back and forth, and their legs sometimes are doing this little jiggle thing. And they sometimes are making noises. When you see this, you want to wake the dog up and say, "I'm waking you up, you were asleep, and you had a story in your head while you were sleeping." Okay. Now, the next thing you want to do, and you want to do this the whole time you've got this puppy, is you want to ritualize telling the dog stories. Let them be close to your face. You sit on the couch, you let them be close to your face, and you let them lick your face when you're telling these stories. Because one of the most important things here is the smell. You tell them happy stories, the best Christmas you had, the best childhood friend you had when you were in grade school, the first time you kissed someone, your best high school teacher, and any Disney character. But you want to tell them these stories, short stories. You want to tell them these stories, and every time you do it, you tell them, "I'm going to tell you a story," because you want to really, really hammer this word story into their head, both when they're having their dreams and when you're telling them stories. Okay. Try and tell them at least one story a day. Short stories, doesn't have to take long. Just make sure the dog's able to get to your face. Okay, when the dog reaches 2 months old, that is 8 weeks, with no one else in the house, you and the dog, all electronics off, you sit on the couch with the dog, and you tell them the backstory of the time leading up to the moment when you got your PTSD. Now, it's really important that you melt down during this time, so you're going to want to be able to tell them enough of the story so that you feel it and you start crying. Most of the time you'll start crying, and the dog will be very concerned, and the dog will again lick your face. But the most important thing that the dog's going to get out of this is your smell, because the smell that's coming out of you when you're talking about that story is different than the smell of your sweat when you're having sex, or when you're having an argument with a loved one, or when you're working out. These are all different smells, and the dogs can pick up on this. The other thing the dog can hear is your pounding heart. When your heart starts beating like that, the dog will hear that. Dogs can hear much better than we can, and they will keep track of your heart rate. Okay, at the end of that story, you lean into the dog and you tell the dog in all sincerity When that story is going on in my head when I'm sleeping, I want you to wake me up. And then you just trained a service animal, and that dog will watch over you while you sleep for the rest of its life. Now, dogs only live about 14 years. So when the dog dies, please don't mourn the dog. Get another one. Dogs, the relationship, the term dog is man's best friend is most serious when it comes to somebody with PTSD. So I encourage everybody that has PTSD to make this bond with your dog. And that's it. Thank you very much.